Thank you for being with us on the program today. Now, the fighting has significantly intensified following Eid. What's the main cause behind the two sides ramping up their efforts in the hopes of defeating each other on the battlefield?
Well, that has always been the main rationale between the RSF and the Sudanese armed forces. Has always been to secure critical power infrastructure. That is what they've been fighting since day one. And besides that, we know that both sides have been claiming to have secured this critical infrastructure. But as long as they do not have some kind of assurance that they can have this power control areas, for example, the presidential palace, most of the military camps, but also, they're trying to ensure that they do secure more support, and followers on their side. So it's all about power consolidation, and this will go on until there is some kind of an agreement of a ceasefire, and this will, in effect, strengthen, anyone's negotiation depending on how much power they've secured during this period of time.
Right, you mentioned ceasefires. They failed over and over again. I mean, is there a political solution in sight? What's the end game here?
Well, the reason why they failed in respecting any of the ceasefires is because none of the side has been able to secure any critical infrastructure. Because if you do respect any of the ceasefires, then what effectively you would be doing is kind of giving the leverage to whoever has been able to secure more power control. So I think the political solution has always been, and I've said this before, is to ensure that we can have some kind of a reconciliation in terms of that power sharing, because this is the main reason why both men are fighting. I mean, these are supposed to be the protectors of the country. They are now the destroyers of it because of simply failing to come to an agreement in terms of power sharing.
Right, and Khartoum and other cities like neighboring Omdurman have witnessed a lot of destruction, and much of its residents rather have fled. How much effort, money, and time do you think is going to be needed to make these war-torn places livable again?
I think it's going to be enormous. Now, the main focus is now to, see how this fighting can stop. When that stops, of course, then we will talk about rebuilding. We'll talk about restoring some kind of normalcy again in Sudan. But I think for now, the main focus is how do we get both the RSF and the Sudanese armed forces to come to an agreement, one that both of them will believe, strongly that, they can abide to, and allow Sudanese some kind of a democratic process to come into place. But this is down now, in my opinion, to the power of Sudanese to some kind of force these two factions, both the Sudanese armed forces and the RSF, to come to an actual agreement and stop the fighting.
All right, David Otto, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour. It's always a pleasure speaking to you.